To make it 3-1 in the grand final. Puts in the penalty and wins the grand final for Campbelltown City.
No one attacks it, comes back off the Fernandez. It's the goal! It's Cove! Oh! And then Talisman's got another one. They should be back quick. Jake King done! What a shot! My goodness me! Oh, can't teach that sort of stuff. Sends it in, keeps it low, and it's gone in! It's gone in! LA Uni have scored in time added. Tries to get under control, and the shot from Tolland. Salisbury into a 2-0 up.
Still Butler with another chance. It's 2-1 to Playford. Persistence has paid off for Playford.
Long touch to the keeper, puts it into the bottom corner. Beach gives him a shoulder after that as well. He's lost his clean sheet, and he's lost his head with a red card. David, this is massive.
They go sing, and the geezers too. Yeah, we're doing this thing.
Hello and welcome to One Game at a Time, episode 2 for 2025. I'm Seb O'Neill, and as always joined by my 3 regular co-hosts, starting with the man, the myth, the legend, Alessio Carocci. Alessio, how are you on this fine evening?
Very good, Seb. I don't know why I'm the man and the myth, but I'm always here, so nothing to complain about this week.
Also joined by probably my favourite person in the world with the least amount of hair, Mark Talbot. How are you?
Good. How are you, Seb?
I'm very, very well. And finally, my favourite man with an accent and glasses both, Mr. David Grant. David, how are you?
Good, thanks. How are you guys?
I'm very well. You're a bit close to your camera there, David.
This is the setting I have when I'm talking to my parents at home. They're a wee bit older, and this is generally the view that I get. So I'll change the setting in a moment.
All right, that is no problem at all, David. We have a great show for today. Of course, if you have any questions to ask us or our upcoming guests, leave them in the comments and we'll have them up on screen. But as always, we'll start with our picks of the week. I'll go first, actually, for once. The Young Socceroos had a massive game against Iraq the other night in the Under-20 Asian Cup. As you see, finally a 3-2 win, which qualifies us to an Under-20 World Cup for the first time since 2013, if my memory serves me correct. And a lot of South Australians starred for the national team that night. As you can see, Luki Ivanovic, Musa Toure both started. Panakikianis has pretty much been a starter throughout the whole campaign. Of course, they play again tonight as well against Japan, and that's a semi-final, which, you know, if they win, they play in the Asian Cup final, which is a huge achievement for them. Johnny Yule was involved as well. I'm trying to make sure I don't forget anyone. Who did I say? Kikianis, Johnny Yule, Stephen Hall as you see. I don't think I missed any. Oh, Fabian Taladera is the other one, I think, as well.
Taladera.
Yeah. And then this early goal from Luki Ivanovic. I don't know whether or not he meant it or if he was a bit lucky there, but a great goal nonetheless. Again, I think the theme of the whole tournament has been our young, from a selfish point of view, our young South Australian players pretty much shining, whether it's been Musa scoring earlier in the tournament, Luki Ivanovic and Panakikianis, coming up clutch in the end. As you see, Panakikianis, a striker's finish from a defender, Mark. It's quite extraordinary, that finish.
Well, that's a great finish. It's hit it early and just killed it that far post. I mean, strikers wish to finish like that. So great finish.
Well, goes in touch with our guest tonight as well, Seb.
Absolutely. And of course, those were the two South Australians that scored during the game, Ivanovic and Kikianis. And then to win the game, it was Alex Badalado, now of Melbourne Victory, on loan there. And the goals in this game were just quite extraordinary. I mean, this one is just phenomenal, especially to win the game. I was at home with our fellow, you see, Mark? With our fellow friends Antonis Pagonis and Christian Marchetti. We all watched the game together over a nice game of A-League Monopoly. And we went a bit mental when this goal went in. And I think it's just really important, especially because it is a big achievement for our youth age teams. As we said, haven't been to a youth World Cup or under-20 World Cup at least since 2013. And I mean, you'll be able to see in a moment just how much it means to the players from all around. And it's just a really important thing for these players to have. And I mean, especially Adelaide United are probably suffering at the moment from it, but it's a great achievement to see Alessio. I mean, these scenes are quite great, aren't they?
Yeah, it's fantastic to see. We were talking on Johnny's show earlier this week, seeing players like, I think Stephen Hall might have been crying there at the end, and it's just great to see us on a national stage. Here it is, just after so many years of hurt and close calls we've had, and we've done so well in all these competitions leading up to big tournaments, but sometimes we just haven't been able to cross the line. Obviously, we made the Olympics a couple of years ago in Tokyo, but since then we've just been missing out on a few of these. So to break a long drought like this is fantastic.
Absolutely, really, really good to see. Mark, we'll go with you next for your pick. What do you have for us?
My pick this week is this weekend. I'll be playing in a football match for the first time in 12 months. I'll be taking part in the Seamus Marion Memorial game at Playford, and I'll be playing for Para Hills. So it's a good friend of mine and a family friend as well. He was suicide a few years ago now, unfortunately. So if you're in the area, head down there. This game's been played the last few years, all in aid of Black Dog Institute. So
Wow. Wow, it's Mark this week.
The technical difficulties.
who are all about absolute
get
fool
back-
of myself for an hour.
Mark, are you back with us?
Sorry, have I been dropping out?
Yep.
Apologies. Innovative Black Dog Institute, great organisation for mental health. So if you're in the area, by all means, game kicks off at 5:30, followed by the NPL game for Playford against Para Hills. So I'll be donning the boots and gloves and trying to kick a ball around.
Very, very.
An operative word there is trying.
Just add to that. I think a lot of what you said there, Mark, dropped out and possibly wasn't heard. It's an important message and it's an important issue to raise. I think mental health generally, men's mental health is something that comes under the microscope a lot. And I'm not ashamed to say that I've had issues in the past and worked through them. And I think it's a fantastic thing that you do to raise the profile of that for everyone. So well done, Mark. And I just hope that you dropped in and out a little bit there. And I was just hoping that your message or what you were trying to get through was successfully conveyed.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very, very important message for everyone to listen up. I've been the same as well, David. And yeah, it's important for, I think, everyone just to have the conversation, really. Who are we going to go with next? We'll go with David. We'll go to you next for your pick.
Okay, so I was struggling for ideas this week, I'll confess, but I had two that I was going to quickly mention. The first was the Ollie Grant goal celebration at 8-1 down when he scored a goal to make it 8-2 and gave it to the home supporters at Sturt. There's a little footage here at Carina here as the ball's nodded in from close range and then a glance back and then a little salute to the home support. So I don't know if we can get some information on what that was all about. Maybe someone who comes on the show later can elaborate on it, but there you go. There you go. So nice one. Well, at least he's interested in communicating with him. He could have just walked away and said nothing. So that was my first. And then my second was just a little bit of publicity for grassroots football. So a lot of us start our careers out playing junior football, and the local districts football stuff, the local community stuff is starting up. The Adelaide Hills Junior Football Association is my local one up here in the Adelaide Hills. There's also the Elizabethan Districts one in the northern end of the city, and I can't remember if there's one down south. Mark might be able to help me if he's not dropped out again on that. But yeah, so if you have little ones or if your friends have little ones and they're remotely interested, get them out and get involved in that grassroots football. It's all starting up. I've seen a few adverts here locally recently, and it's time to get into it. When I first came to Australia 30 years ago, I think there were about, 3 or 4 clubs in the hills. There was, for senior men, I only had the option of Handorf or the Adelaide Hills Hawks. And even Adelaide Hills Hawks at the time was an under-23s team. I was a marquee player because I was 25 and they were allowed a couple of overage players. So options were very limited in those days, and it's great to see how the sport has exploded. But grassroots football, junior football, get the kids out there. That's my message.
Absolutely. Very, very, very important, exciting. My niece is having her first ever training tonight, which is very exciting. I look forward to hearing what she thinks about it after. She's been wanting to get into it for a while, so I hope she doesn't come back crying, basically. Alessio, on to you for your picks. Bit greedy this week.
Yeah, I couldn't really have one to choose. I'm not sure which video you've got up first, but I guess...
Whatever you want to talk about.
Well, I'm tying into David's thing about grassroots football, seeing a lot of players come out and play. This is a new team over the last couple of seasons in our federation. Obviously, they had an amateur team in the past. Before that, I think they started in 2000, if I look at the history correctly or remember it correctly. But Pontian Eagles, they obviously went up with our guest team Cove from the State League 2 last year, got a facilities upgrade last year, and then furthered that in the off season by getting more fencing around it, better benches, better setup behind the goals with the rebound kind of area. But yeah, the club room's fantastic. The change rooms are fantastic, and Seb can tell you firsthand that the Accommodation as well from the club has been very good as well. I'm not sure if that's said there on the scaffold itself, but here's a couple of clips of Seb's day there on Monday night. It was at the reserves that happened before that as well. So so you commentated the first team game, but a team that I'm sure a lot of people would have thought the same with Cove might struggle going up. This is the first time they've been promoted. They've only been in the federation for less than 5 years, I think. So it's a fantastic achievement, and they've picked up some great players. And what a result they had on Monday night. 2-0 win. And I don't know if I'm going early here, but with Playford going up, is Ponty in the new Playford of State League One?
Wow, the Karachi curse. Man, beware if you tipsy early on. Man.
But the way that pitch plays, I've heard from a bunch of coaches that were there last night, and I know firsthand as well. But the way that pitch plays is just, if they can play it well as they did on Monday night, it's a small pitch, long throw-ins as Seb saw, just everyone on top of each other. There's not a lot of room for anyone to be skillful or take some deft touches. I know Greco did quite well himself, but otherwise, difficult pitch to play on. Everyone's going to hate coming there this season in State League One. And if they can do anything and use it like Playford did, then the sky's the limit for them.
Absolutely, yeah. It was a great occasion on Monday night. A good game as well. We'll go into that later in a bit more depth. As of course, being able to watch it in full very much helps. Alessio, your second pick.
Yeah, so my second pick, again, it's only a pretty small one, but I was looking through some of the signings. Obviously, we talked a few about them last week, but one that stood out to me, the way he plays and the history I found on him, was Lorenzo Boselli, the Italian import striker for FK Beograd. I saw him play a bit in pre-season, and all I heard was that he was an Italian import, played obviously somewhere in the levels in Italy, which he did in the prior to his college journey and after as well. But he was the NCAA champion, captain, as you can see, number 10, scored the goals for Syracuse University, one of the best and most prestigious men's college teams in America. Them, and I think Clemson is one of the other big ones there. But this is 2022 and 2023 that he was there, and they obviously won the title, the first in their history. And he was one of the people that led them there. He scored his penalty in the shootout win, and they won in the grand final as well. I guess it's just time will tell how he adapts to our league. But from the first couple of viewings I saw of him on Sunday, he was winning free kicks. He was so dangerous in the probably second striker 10 position, as he's not your traditional big target man number 9. But boy, am I glad. I'm excited to see him more this season. If this is what he's got in his locker and this is what history he's got behind him, I think this is one that, I don't know, maybe we'll see if any other teams might have missed out on him, but I'd love to see how they scouted this guy, because it seems like they've got a star on their hands.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait to see him in the flesh, especially in the derby. This Sunday will be very, very exciting to see. Mark, feeling a bit better now?
We'll find out soon enough.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. David gets a week off from issues from this week.
Yes. Well, I forgot to mention that the new cable I've got to improve my internet service, I actually stole from Mark's house last week. So,
as we said, we've got a great show. Looking forward to our guests who will be coming on soon. Oh, David, what's that? What is that?
A knock on my door?
I think so. Do you maybe want to go check it? Maybe
I'll go check it. Hang on a second, fellas, and I'll see who's in the door.
Yep. Have a look. Who's at the door, David? I want to know. Oh, the suspense.
You'll never guess who it is, and I've let them in. You'll never guess who it is.
Who is it?
It's Matt Canny from the Cove.
Oh, what a guest. He's muted though. Matt, you're muted. Everybody's got issues.
How are you?
Very, very well, Matt. Very pleased to have you on. Even in we had you pre-booked before the weekend. I suppose that's probably the first talking point. You've come up to State League 1 from State League 2. I imagine you expected some sort of a jump in level and quality, but I can't imagine you would have expected it to be as much as it was on Saturday.
Yeah, I think obviously we're still very disappointed with the result and the performance, I guess, as a bundle. But it's we've all been. I mean, we've got players in our team that have sort of obviously played at the highest possible level you can play at in this state, and we were fully aware of the quality Sturt had and the quality of this league. And I guess it was just the way the game played out, and obviously, the way the game played out, we scored a goal that was again, people make mistakes, but clearly onside, and that 1-1 in the 30th minute completely changes the game. But you go down 2-0, and then very quickly a few they hit us very, very quickly, and 4-0 at half time. It's certainly made everyone aware just the quality of the league we're playing this year.
And then I guess, as I said, you've come up from State League 2 as well. How has, I guess, the general team been the past few weeks? Of course, other than the loss on the weekend, I suppose, in pre-season, how's it been feeling around just Cove being at Cove in general?
Yeah, it's been fantastic. I mean, I think we sort of, the team that we were sort of building last year was in preparation to get promoted this year, and it's where we all want to play as obviously as high as possible and get the club in the best possible position that it deserves to be. And we obviously have been working really hard, obviously this week in training to rectify that and get straight back on board. But we're not worried. We've got plenty of experience in our team. We know exactly what we need to do, and we cannot wait to get back out on Saturday and keep the league on notice with hopefully a good performance and a good result.
Absolutely. Mark, your questions or question, if he's still with us?
Oh, my question would be, I know it's a bit like that at the moment. More so the fact you started down south, obviously, many years ago now. You've been around, obviously, the Blue Eagles and then FK B grade. What attracted you going back to Cove last year? Was it the coach? Was it the club? Was it the project that was on offer? Just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I guess, to be honest with you, pretty much a lot of the things you just mentioned were the reasons for my decision. Obviously, Kitch being there, and I spent a lot of years with Kitch at South and other clubs, very close to my house. My partner and my wife and I bought a house not that far away in Flagstaff Hill, so everything sort of just lined up pretty well for us. Obviously, with Kitch being there and the incredible facilities the club's got down there now, it really was a no-brainer. And I sort of wanted something that I could sort of, really, I guess, put my spin on it and see if I could sort of, lift Cove where they finished the year before, which was sort of not a great position, and sort of try and build a team to get them up where they deserve to be. Because the facilities that obviously I'm sure everyone's been down there. I mean, we've got some of the best facilities in the state, and I think that club deserves to be in a good position.
Alessio, on to you.
So I've got an interesting one. I got a question just before we went on air from one of your teammates. I'll let you see if you can guess who it is or where the question come from. But it's for you and for some of the, how should I say, elder statesmen in the Cove lineup and squad. Your thoughts on Ollie Grant's boots? Some label them the career extenders.
Yeah, well, look, honestly, mate, that could have come from anyone. It's a bit of an interesting point. Every time he pulls them out, he's got about 4 different versions and styles now. He's donned the Asics in a numerous variety of colours, and he's rocking the bright red ones at the moment that he's pretty happy with. So yeah, I'm sure that it may well have come from him, to be honest with you, because he's probably the only one that really is pushing them. But he's very proud of them, mate. You can't back the guy. He loves it. Absolutely loves his Asics.
Anything else from you, Alessio?
No, I'm glad that you're wearing the Mizunos, Matt. It's definitely a better choice in my opinion.
I've actually got a football question. I've got a football question for you, Matt. Cumberland United this weekend. So we obviously do predictions here, and I'm not going to put you in that spot. But going into that match, coming off last week's result, you're confident. They're coming off the back of a 2-0 win against Salisbury United. So you are confident then going into that. How do you cope with the the damage it's done to you, upstairs as well as everywhere else after an 8-2 loss going into a game like Cumberland?
Yeah, and a great question. I mean, I guess that's our job as senior players. I mean, we've got 4 or 5 players that have sort of played, within 1,500, 2,000 games between us. So that's our job to sort of obviously settle the squad. And it's we've been in, for the most part, the majority of us have been in a position like this before, and the crucial nature of bouncing back. And we're super confident. I mean, ultimately, where we want to sit this year. I mean, we were going into this year with, sky's the limit. Our expectation is that we perform at a high standard, and we are absolutely not here to sort of make the numbers or survive by any means. The team we have, we believe we should be playing finals. So yeah, we're going to this week with a team that, we probably feel that is going to be finishing around where we probably want to be finishing. So at home, we will be going full steam ahead, and we'll give everything we can to get 3 points. I'm very confident, mate. We will do everything we possibly can, and as long as we improve the performance and we get back to that sort of what we stand for, I'm very confident.
So consolidating a spot, consolidating your place in State League One isn't the aim. Finals is the aim. Is that right?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yep.
I would say so. Yeah, we're certainly not. Consolidation isn't even in the conversation. To be honest with you, it is.
Yep.
We should be pushing a final spot, David. So yeah, that's what we're certainly going for. Good
man. Well, I'm going to back you after that. I'm going to back you guys when it comes round to predictions against who is it you're playing? It's Cumberland you're playing, isn't it? I'm going to back you in that one.
Well, there's also that weird thing where from all the promoted teams, I think it happens in the NPL quite a lot, but it did happen in the State League last year with Salisbury. The team that gets promoted makes finals. Like one of the two usually gets to. So hopefully you guys, you're the one case.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, there's even that sort of level of, we were very aware of the saying of the promoted hangover or the championship hangover, and we certainly didn't want that. I think, Sturt, all credit to them. They are a fantastic team, and we knew that. And we tried something different going into it. It's a different formation they play. We tried something different. We had some key players pull out at sort of the 11th hour, and we tried something different, and it didn't work. And second half, we went out there and just said, we're going to give it to them, and obviously got caught in a couple of goals. But the margins in this league are so fine, and the scoreline. I mean, it's obviously for us, it's from pride perspective, it's embarrassing, and we want to bounce back. And you win this weekend, you find yourself, all too familiar in this league, mate. I'm all too familiar in this league. You win this weekend, you could be sitting equal third. So it changes so quickly, and we just know every point is gold.
Yeah, absolutely. Matt, of course, this season as well, you've gone up. South Adelaide have come down. How exciting is the prospect of playing in quite a big Southern derby? And I think it's in round 8.
Yeah, it's certainly one, Seb, you mark on your calendar as one that you're looking forward to at the start of the year. It's we've got a lot of players that have played between both clubs. It's the club I started at. It's a club that a lot of our players started at. And obviously our coach sort of built his career there too. So we can't wait. And look, we know they've got some good players too. But we cannot wait for that game. But we take 1 week at a time. The old classic saying. But we really are. We mark it on the calendar at the start of the year, but won't even be looking at that until all focus is on Cumberland this weekend, and then the next week will be the following game. It's until we sort of reach that point. But yeah, very exciting, and I think awesome for the South to have that huge game. We hopefully will get a good crowd both fixtures.
So 1 game at a time, then, Matt. Good plug. I like that.
I was working on it.
One more thing until we move on to whatever David has planned for us in his crazy mind. I will ask Matt about I wouldn't say the incident. Incident makes it seem like a very bad thing. What enticed Ollie Grant to give the Sturt fans a wave, shall I say? Do you think?
Yeah, Ollie, you ask him, you probably get a little bit of Mayo version, but I just think I think a couple of them were giving him a little bit. I think over the sort of the 5-10 minutes, and he sort of thought you'd give him a little bit back. I mean, but that's the nature of it. I mean, obviously, you get the beauty is when you're standing on that side of the fence, it's very easy to sort of hurl a couple of comments or say what you want to say, and ultimately, at 8-2, it's probably not something to do when you're sort of that. Maybe if it was a winner or a last minute equaliser, but he wanted to obviously say his little bit on there too, and I think that was about the extent of it.
I'm more than happy for players to show a bit of character. Give me more of it, I say. David, on to you. What do you have for us?
Quickly before that, Dave, I was just going to say I feel for Ollie in that regard, because everywhere he goes, I'll be the first one to admit, he cops it everywhere he goes. Every club he plays against all give him grief. I remember days at Port, when I was at Port Pirates watching, he was copping it from them guys against when he played at Fulham. It didn't matter who he was playing against. Everyone just tries to rile him up and give him grief everywhere he goes. I don't understand it, but everywhere he goes, someone's bound to give him grief. I don't know why. Maybe
do you know what? It happens if you are a threat. People do that if they're threatened by you, and that's why it happens. I, as a player, I did play at as high a level as you guys, but if I was targeted for abuse by spectators, I took it as a compliment and a piece of flattery, and I used it that way, and that's why it happens to players like Ollie, I think.
Very, very interesting. Good to.
Does that not get a round of applause? That speech.
You get.
I was going to say that's why I was never abused or anything. That's clear.
I think some people would probably argue that he gets it because he probably says something to probably deserve it most of the time. So I think.
David, what do you have for us?
Well, funnily enough, we what we normally do around this time of night is we field a couple of questions that have been sent in by some of our younger listeners, and we have a master, Ollie Grant, who's aged 31, and he lives in the Hallock Cove area, and he's got a couple of questions for Matt Canny. His first question is, Matt, he says, David, could you please ask Matt how much you spend on football boots per month? You seem to buy a lot of them.
Oh, that's probably the best question he could have probably answered. I was a bit nervous then, and I'll just make sure my wife's not in his view. But look, probably a lot less since I've had a daughter. But I'd probably get close to maybe a pair every couple of months these days. So probably a lot too many for a centre back. But it's the one thing I'm allowed to spend my money on. So yeah, I'll keep doing it until I retire.
Okay, good. Well, I hope that answers your question, Ollie. Ollie's got another question. He asks, Matt, is the captain's armband feeling a little stretched and loose on your arm after Ollie Grant used it for the pre-season friendly versus Campbelltown?
Yeah, I did hear some rumours that apparently he didn't want to take it off when he got taken off and kept it and slept with it that night. So, definitely not too loose. So thanks, Ollie.
And the last thing that Ollie's made in comment here is that if he had to pick teammates to be stuck in a desert island with, Matt Canny would not be one of them because he complains too much.
Well, it's a bit rich coming from him, but I certainly wouldn't want to stuck on an island with him either, mate.
Okay, cool. So now we can move on to the Matt Canny quiz. So this is how this is going to work. I've got a series of questions I'm going to ask the panel that Matt has provided me. If the panel gets the answer right, they get a point. If the panel gets the answer incorrect, then Matt Canny gets a point. Very simple rules, really. So these questions are, now the panel can ask Matt questions, but they can't ask him direct questions about, exactly what the answer might be. But Matt is allowed to give clues and he can mislead them. He can do a little bit of lying and a little bit of economy with the truth in order to mislead them if he wants. Okay, everybody understand?
Perfect.
Okay. Panel, here's question one for the panel. Matt's dad, Cameron Canny, known as Cam Canny, played professionally for Coventry City.
True or false?
This is a true or false, yes.
I hope so.
I think just telling us like An example.
Yeah, no. This is the first question. So Matt's dad, Cam Canny, played professionally for Coventry City. Is that true or false? And you can ask Matt questions. You can ask him a question like, Matt, does your family come from Coventry? That kind of thing. But you can't ask him the same question, obviously. Play.
Well, yes. Is your family from Coventry or that area of England?
Yeah, so Dad's born in Coventry. My mum's born in Essex, but yeah, they lived in Coventry for 12 years before they came over.
Okay. Alessio or Mark, any questions? He seemed convincing with that answer, and I believe him.
I know. I'm like, that was.
That's not the face of a liar.
What league Coventry were in those years? I can't.
Premier League.
Okay.
Geez, that was early 90s.
80s, 90s, yeah.
From you, Mark?
I'm just trying to work out if he lived in Coventry and his mum was in Essex, it's nowhere near each other. So, like, that's a big difference, a big space there. So it's like, why would they move to Coventry if they were Essex way, or did your mum move up earlier?
Mum and Dad worked together in Birmingham. So Dad caught the train up to Birmingham, and yeah, Mum was working in Birmingham at the time.
I'm gonna say true.
Together is interesting. He worked as a football player.
I feel like I want to say true.
I think false, because I reckon it's like one of those ones where he did play for a team, but it wasn't Coventry, and that's like the way he's tricking us.
Yeah, I'm going with Alessio.
False.
All right, that's majority false. David.
So majority say false. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
The answer is?
The answer is false. So the panel gets 1 point, and Matt is on 0.
You had me going there, though.
I know.
It was. He played in Coventry, but obviously not for Coventry.
If you said that they were in like League 2 or League 1, I would be like, oh, they could have.
All right, question 2.
I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Right, you ready for question 2?
Yep.
Matt Canny can bench press 150 kilograms.
Do you go to the gym regularly, Matt?
I do, Seb.
What is Ollie Grant weigh? Just wondering if you bench press a couple of ollies. That's all.
He's probably 60 kilos, mate.
Does Ollie Grant bench more than you?
No, Alessio.
I feel like saying true.
I'm going to go true.
Like true as well.
I'm going true.
David.
Okay, the answer to that is false. So the panel has 1 point. The panel has 1 point. Matt Canny has 1 point. It's very even. It can't be more even.
What's the real answer? What was the answer?
Well, the answer is false, but I don't know what.
Oh yeah,
I'll be about 120. I think about 120, mate. I'm a little bit off that.
Oh, so 2 ollies.
A couple of ollies.
Okay, are you ready for question 3?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Canny has scored over 50 career goals. True or false?
Yeah, I would say
I
so.
have that grand final thingy here somewhere. That sheet I had of his career tallies. I don't know where it is.
Do you remember it being over 50 at all?
Is that just here in SA, or is that prior to coming here?
Just here.
So
Okay.
just. How long have you played for, Matt?
Made my debut in 2008.
Okay.
Have you always been a centre back?
Senior football right back is where I started.
Right back's okay.
Have you ever been on set pieces?
No.
Ever taken a pen?
Ask Mark that, Seb.
I'd say pens, yes. I'd say pens, yes.
But what,
Pens, yes.
Okay. I would say, yeah. 50 in what? 50 goals for
I reckon he's just short.
centre back.
400 games. So
Yeah, I would say 50.
I reckon just short.
I reckon just short as well. I can.
All right.
Yeah.
False then,
false.
David. Less
So your
than
answer
50
is-
goals.
Okay, it's actually true. He's got 52 career goals.
Oh wow!
Jeez, that's impressive.
At least I was right.
That buzzer's great,
That's
Seth.
what I said.
David.
Okay, score update. Matt has 2. The panel has 1. Question 4 of 5. You ready?
Yep.
Which of the following coaches has Matt not played under? A. Sergio Melta. B. Frank Tapaldi. Or C. Ben Dale.
First one. Oh, hang on.
Sergio
No.
Melta. Oh,
Hang on. No.
He seemed confident. I was more than
Yeah,
happy to go.
yeah, I
with it.
do.
No.
I think-
No.
I think it's Sergio Melta. So because
I reckon it was Benny Dale because I reckon he had both of them at White City, FK Beergrad.
Melta. I reckon he had Melta at
Whether that
Cumberland.
or at Blue Eagles. Oh, Cumberland, yeah. I reckon it's Ben Dale because Benny Dale was at Seaford, then he was at South, and I don't reckon Canny was down the hill at either FK Beergrad at the time, possibly when they were in the Premier League when Benny had them a few years ago. So I reckon he hasn't played under Benny Dale.
Has Ben been anywhere else? Seaford and just has he been to like no longer or anything? No.
Cobras, Mowbray Vista.
Well, Matt was at Cobras, wasn't he?
Oh, he was too. Yeah, I forgot about that one. Whoa.
Matt is in the room, fellas. He is
tough.
here.
All the coaches there have coached clubs that Matt has been at, but I just don't know the right times on it. I'm going to say Sergio Melta. He hasn't.
I've got no clue, so it's up to you, Mark, basically.
Because I reckon, he said he made his debut 2008. And
Yeah.
I remember.
I'm just trying to remember when Benny was at Cobras.
I remember when Melta was at Cumberland, it would have only been for a season or two, and that's when John Fusco went there. But I reckon John wouldn't have been there from 2008 onwards. I reckon he was at Bacala from then. So I'm going to
I
say
think you
Sergio Melta.
might be right. Yeah, I think I'll go that as well. I think the year Benny was at Cobras, I reckon he had Matt playing there. So yeah, I think go yours, Alessio.
David, lock in Sergio Melta.
Okay, I'm locking that one in. Matt, did you want to tell him the answer?
Sergio Melta was actually who signed me at White City.
I didn't realise he was there.
I said you played under him at White City. I was like, I
then
wasn't sure.
yeah,
if it
Frank
was.
Tapaldi after that, yeah.
Yep. So it was Benny
Ben
Dale.
Dale never. Yeah.
Well,
Score, David.
It's got
Matt's got. Well, I've decided. I've just adapted. I've done an Alessio. I'm just changing the rules as we get to the end here. So Matt ostensibly is 3-1 up with one question to come, but the last question's sort of got a number of connotations. So I think I'm just going to change the rules here a little bit. Matt, it's almost in the bag, but the last question, it could all change with this last question. So I'll ask the question and I'll explain how the points are going to work. Matt Canny won best and fairest 3 seasons in a row with 3 different clubs. I want the panel to name me those 3 clubs. Now, the panel will get 1 point for every club they get right, and for every club they get wrong, Matt will get a point. I'll repeat the question. Matt Canny won best and fairest 3 seasons in a row with 3 different clubs. What were the 3 clubs?
I'd have to say Blue Eagles, FK Beergrad, and Cobras.
Are we just locking that in?
No, wait.
Oh,
So
that's just my suggestion.
Yeah.
So it would have been FK Beergrad, because he obviously played at Blue Eagles, FK Beergrad, and Cobras, and I reckon it was one after the other. Because I reckon, Matt, were you only at Cobras for 1 year?
I was at Cobras, Mark. I was.
Well answered. Well played. I thought I might catch you out with all the quick talking.
So, Mark, you're saying the like from backwards though? So like Blue Eagles was the last one or the first one?
I can't remember because I can't remember what order he was at Blue Eagles, Cobras, and FK Beergrade, but he was at all three clubs.
Because when did he play in Western Strikers? Was that after Blue Eagles or in between?
Shit, I forgot about
that. Because I remember
the fact is, you got to remember that he was at Blue Eagles for a few years and at FK for a number of years.
But yeah, I just think
so it was Cobras and Western Strikers were very short stints.
Yeah, Blue Eagles was before Cove, and then before Blue Eagles, I thought it was Western Strikers. We got anything, Seb?
So
have you been to research his career?
I got no clue.
Cobras, Strikers, Blue Eagles.
You reckon that Strikers he would have won it?
Whoever was before Cove, because he probably could have won it last year, but he was wherever he was at before Cove was longer than 1 year. Was he not, or was he there longer than 1 year? Only there for 1 year, wherever it was before. Yeah, how many
stints have you had at Blue Eagles, Matt?
One stint.
But it was a long stint, though, wasn't it? It was at least 3 years.
Oh, it was more than a season.
Yeah, see. So I reckon Strikers and Cobras were both only 1 seasons. I reckon.
All right. If you reckon that, then yeah, Cobras, Strikers, Blue Eagles in that order.
It's just a matter of what order. It's just a matter of what order.
Do you need them in order, David?
I hadn't. We'll see. I've just made these rules up as I've gone along. So, do I need them in an order? If you get the 3 clubs and you get the order, then I'll maybe give you a wee half point, and that half point could be the difference between winning the title and coming second. So, I'll give you a little half point if you get the order correct. But if you let's just get the 3 teams right first.
Yeah. I think that order's right though. Yeah, Cobras, Strikers, Blue Eagles. We happy, Seb?
It'd have to be those 3 then. Either that or it was because who was he before? Where was he at before the Cobras? That was FK Beergrade, wasn't it?
Yeah, it would have been, and then South before that. So maybe there would only be 2 clubs.
So it would have been again. It would have been Cobras and Strikers have to be involved because they were single year. I reckon they were both single season.
So you go for Cobras, Strikers, and Blue Eagles. Is that right?
Yep. Lock it in.
Okay. You get a point. Yeah. You get a point for Cobras, takes you up to 2. You get a point for Western Strikers, takes you up to 3. But you don't get a point for Blue Eagles because it was White City. Matt gets the point for that. Gives him a 4-3.
It was a 4-3.
Yeah.
He did well there.
That must have been before. Yeah. So Beergrad, then Cobras, then White City. Then Strikers, yeah.
So Matt's the winner.
Thank you, David, for that. Always enjoyable as always with your quizzes and fun facts and questions from guests.
Couldn't do it without the guests, so thanks a lot, Matt. Really appreciate it.
No, thank you so much for having me, guys. I love what you guys do. Always tune in every week, and the way you guys just push the local game. There's not enough people like you guys, so hopefully everyone just gets around and supports what you guys do. Because I know it's a tireless, moneyless job sometimes. So I think the more people that can get around you guys and what you do, I think the better, and you're just an asset to the game.
Thank you.
That's kind of thank you.
And good luck on the weekend, Mark. Great cause.
I'm gonna need it, and all the best for you on on the game as well. He knows it's going to take me 3 years to recover.
Any words of wisdom on how to beat Strikers, Matt?
Score more goals.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll have an offline chat, Alessio, because we did play him in pre-season. But you guys will be fine. Hopefully, this is the year finals, Alessio. You reckon?
Hopefully. The last time we were there at Strikers Away, we did beat them while they were top of the league. So hope to run that back.
Very, very excited. Thank you, Matt, for joining us. Good luck for the weekend. And thanks for being on.
Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Matt.
Wait. If he's still here.
Oh, yeah.
Go.
I have a last minute another question from another fan. If they ask, how many MPL's goals have you scored?
It's only 2.
And I'll leave it with the 2 players that asked you these questions are both goalkeepers, and see if you can figure it out.
I've got a feeling one's Ryan Beach because he still talks about his 1 goal in the MPL.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks
for
you, Matt. Thanks
coming.
for joining us.
See you guys.
Very, very.
What a
very
lovely guy.
Yes, absolutely, and a very, very good chat. We'll go on to talk about what happened over the weekend. Plenty of football happened. The first game, which Mark, I suppose you said it earlier in our season previews, Elizabeth Grove beat Adelaide Jaguars 5-2 in the preseason cup final. A promising season coming up for them, it looks like.
Yeah, they'll be certainly hoping for a promising season. They started last year off in the same vein, winning the preseason cup. So they'll hopefully be able to. I know Dorber and the team will be hoping to take that one step further this year.
Yeah, absolutely, and of course, good luck. Congratulations, to Elizabeth Grove on that win. A big season coming up, and of course the WMPL preseason cup final coming up this Friday as well between West Adelaide and NTC. A very, very interesting one to look forward to there as well. Going on to State League 1 results, Cobras and South Adelaide, a 2-2 draw between those. Vipers FC 1-1 against West Adelaide, a big result for, you'd say, Vipers in particular. Cumberland United, a 2-0 win over Salisbury United. Of course, the Sturt Lions, 8-2 win over Cove. Adelaide Olympic, a 1-0 win over Adelaide Blue Eagles. And then, of course, that Monday night game between Pontian and Fulham finishing 2-0 to the home side. I suppose... Mark, we'll go back to you again as the southern local. That game between Sturt and Cove did not go as we expected.
Yeah, look, I don't think anyone was expecting that result, to be honest. I think as Matt Canny said, it's just one of those days. I think by the looks of it, everything that Sturt touched just turned to absolute gold. I mean, they've scored 8 goals out of the 11 shots on target.
I was put in the wrong scoreline. My bad.
2-0.
But from the stats, I mean, they've scored 8 goals from 11 shots on target. So, I mean, that's a pretty decent conversion rate. So, I mean, it's just one of those days, unfortunately, for Cove. They've just now got to forget about it, move on and move to the next game. Really, that's all they can do.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then, of course, on Monday night, it was Pontian versus Fulham. An interesting game in itself. And I said it on the call as well, Alessio, about how the home field advantage there at Pontian seemed to really help, especially with those fans and the pitch as well.
Yeah, I mean, I want to look at the stats back now to see the last couple of seasons, how many games they've actually won there. Because I know the 2023 season, they didn't play all of their games, if most of them, out of there. So in just last season and so far in this season, and maybe in the Cup as well, I'd love to see their record there because, yeah, it seems fantastic. The crowd as well, as you saw and you witnessed, it's amazing. So they could be one of the new powerhouses of the North. And, yeah, it was a great result there for them.
Yeah, and I suppose during the game as well, Fulham had a lot of chances, and as you can see from the stats there, they only had 2 shots on target. Pontian, that is, for the whole game, and the first half was a lot more open, and then the second half, Fulham, or the start of the second half at least, Fulham just tended to attack a bit more, but Pontian just were, I guess, more clinical in a way. Fulham really just couldn't finish their chances. As you saw, there's a few offsides there. And those set pieces seem to be quite important for Pontian, whether it was a corner or even a long throws, which I'm sure, again, Alessio, you probably experienced last year, maybe those long throws?
I actually don't remember if they did many long throws. I know they had like a few like longer balls, and because they had such a quick front line, but I didn't remember them being that of a long throwing team. But yeah, I guess it just makes it feel a lot different, especially with the fence around it, feeling way more enclosed and with less space than you think. But yeah, they've integrated into the game and it's paying off dividends.
Yeah, and I must say a big shout out to Freeman Johnson in goal for Pontian Eagles. Me and Christian became very, very big fans of him due to, I guess, his almost willingness to play as another defender, almost just happy to come out of his box and sort of just to have the ball at his feet. It was just quite strange, but quite fun to see from a goalkeeper, Mark, in particular. I don't know if that's been any part of your game at any point in in your career.
Yeah, it certainly was. The higher you can play, the better. And I was happy to have the ball at my feet, that's for sure. And the joys was I was comfortable with it because I played on the park so long. But that's one thing Freeman's always had in his locker is the ability to keep the ball at his feet, to draw defenders in and then play. It's cost him games in the past. I've seen it firsthand, and you can certainly. I'm sure Gabs Easton has probably also seen it as well. But they're the risks you take. You high risk, high reward. So he might cost you a game. But as I was looking at some stats from that game actually, and he made I think 5 or 6 saves in that game. So you know what I mean? Like it's one of those high risk, high rewards. He probably on those saves, and then obviously them scoring allows them to score 2 goals. In another game, it might go the other way. He might let one in, and they might lose the game. But again, high risk, high reward, and that's the way he plays. And if you know that, then and you're happy to take that on, then you know what the risk is. But like I said, you know that you can play out from the back. You can give him the ball, and he's happy to play.
Yeah, absolutely. But all in all, just a very entertaining game to watch. And as we saw before, they were very hospitable. Is that the word? Hospitable to us?
Yeah,
That's correct.
accommodating.
You know,
yeah, hospitable. Yeah.
Yeah, accommodating. Gave us some nice food. Happy to help us anything we needed up in the scaffold, and just a very nice place to be. And I hope to try and get back there some point this season, or again this season as well. Just because I might get fed. On to the MPL. Oh,
I just want to quickly mention, because another fan of the show mentioned to me earlier in the week that a lot of our predictions had Vipers to go down, and this is not from the coach, as we might have had in the past, but in the I would rename it the George Katzianis derby between West Adelaide and Vipers. It was a great point, great goal for George Katzi. He gave the shush, I'm not sure, to the bench, to the camera, who it was to, but
3 minutes to go as well. It was right at the very end, wasn't it?
Which is, he came off the bench, and I think even before, I don't know, either he got injured or he was outplaced in the team last year. He was one of the top scorers for West Adelaide, so came back to haunt him, if anything. And yeah, really shut a lot of us up about their predictions. But yeah, we'll see how they can go the rest of the season, and hope maybe they can surprise a few more. Also, it's good to see the Islander Rovu Boyers score again. Scored a lot in pre-season, so
yeah, and here's that Vipers goal now, very, very late on, which put an end to a lot of our predictions. A very tidy finish, to be fair, as well.
He only came on in the 68th minute as well. So he'd only been on the park for 15 minutes when he put that away.
Yeah, when he ran to the bench, I was expecting a bit of a Suarez jump celebration or something. I know he's a Liverpool fan, but I don't know if you want to be jumping on the ground on that pitch there. Parks.
On to the MPL. Campbelltown against Metro started off the season 3-0 win away for Metro. Croydon 2-1 over newly promoted Playford. Modbury losing 3-1 to Adelaide Comets. Para Hills and West Torrens Bocal are playing out an absolute classic 3-all. Adelaide Croatia Raiders 1-0 loss to Adelaide United, which is probably less of a classic, David, which we'll go into after. And then FK Beograd losing 2-0 to Adelaide City. David, we'll start with the game we did together on the Friday night to open up the season between Campbelltown and Metro.
Yeah, it was a game I guess I was really looking forward to, really excited about. For me, these have been the 2 best teams really overall over the last couple of years in terms of consistency. You don't finish first and second in the league if you don't have that consistency. Different story for in finals, of course. But look, the game started off maybe a little bit slow for me. And Campbelltown obviously having to do some major adjustments at the back because Way Alec was partnered with Joel Albright at the back, and that's not a partnership that was immediately appeared to click. Let me put it that way. I pointed out at one stage in the commentary that there seemed to be a physical distance between the two, never mind anything else. I mean, at one stage, Way Alec was standing about 10 yards further back than the rest of the back three. And at another point in time, Joel Albright was also quite distant from the back three, so it kind of looked physically disjointed as well. So Campbelltown obviously need to fix that up at the back. It just didn't seem to be working for them at the back. But having said that, who remembers Tom Visser from last year at Croydon? For me, he just. I'm not saying he's going to have a great year. I'm not saying last year was a bad year, but I commentated on a couple of games he was in last year, and he just didn't really stand out. But in one game last weekend, for me, was the best on ground. He just seemed to be everywhere. He was a creator, provider, and he was a goal scorer as well. So an outstanding performance from Visser. And Owen Windsor didn't do much, really, did he? But he scored a couple of goals, and if they've brought him in to be a goal scorer, does he really need to do anything else? Probably not. So that's a bit of a summary from me on it. But for me, Campbelltown need a little bit of work at the back. They held out for the best part of, 60 minutes or so. I can't remember when the first goal came in, but they held out long enough. But ultimately just need to try and tighten things up at the back. There just seemed to be a distance between the centre-backs and that. But Metro Stars look good.
Just before we move on to talking about Mark's game, Modbury versus Comets, one thing to point out on the Friday night, massive crowd, David. Alessio, unfortunately... Oh, no, you didn't succumb to it. You were actually fine in the end compared to everyone else, Alessio, coming in.
Very much so. I mean, even when I was waiting the line on foot, I don't know why everyone was waiting. I just went past the guy and said, "Here's my pass, I'm going." And then no thing. But yeah, the parking, I mean... I don't
know who I am?
Yeah, that's what it sounded like.
But the parking, I was astounded. I've never got that close in any game I've ever been to Campbelltown. As a player, as a fan, in a preseason, in a standalone fixture, I've never got that close to as a park. But yeah, a great crowd. I think they reckon maybe 1,500 or more. So
just over 1,500, yeah. So just over 1,500 at one stage, just under 1,000 watching online. And a queue of, 20, 30 people for the best part of the first 20 minutes of the game, 15 minutes of the game. Johnny Kecko said he went for food at one stage and missed 10 minutes because of the queue for food. So just an outstanding crowd, and nobody really expected that, I don't think, for the opening round, but there we go.
Yeah, I think the only thing missing was a Campbelltown goal just to hear the roar of the crowd, possibly.
Yeah.
They're going to be interesting the next week as well, with Joel Albright potentially missing and Connor Santafanti getting a bit of an ankle injury as well. So they're definitely depleted at the moment, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's maybe a new centre-back pairing next week as well.
Magetto will be unavailable as well, because I believe he went off as a concussion, which means he's out as protocol for 2 weeks as well.
Yeah, I was just about to add that. He looked
good.
His first half was... Yeah, his first half was very good. He was brave. He was committed, and he did everything right. It's just a shame that he got that knock and left. And like you say, with this new concussion rule, you're out for an extended period of time if you have a head knock these days. Back in the olden days, it wasn't quite like that. I mean, there's a story about a manager in Scotland called John Lambie, and he was told one of his players was down injured, and the trainer had said to John Lambie that this player doesn't know who he is. And John Lambie said, "Well, tell him he's Pele and get him back out there." Those days are gone, and rightly so.
Yeah, absolutely. Mark, you watched Modbury versus Comets for me. I'll be honest as well. The only games I watched of the NPL were probably the Friday night as well, so that was something I could comment on.
I was as we spoke for our team of the weeks, and that we try and obviously cover across as many games as possible. So I tuned into the Jets Comets game, and I think we all picked the Modbury win, to be honest. But Comets come up trumps in the end with a 3-1 win. But he made our team of the week because of the fact, I think the 3 points is massively down to Vaughan, the goalkeeper. He pulled off probably 4 or 5 great saves early on to keep the score at 0-0 and 1-0. And then Alan Nirabona does what he does and scores 2 quick goals in the 60th minute mark. And as you see, 61 and 64 minutes is quite quick. So I think that was a real shot in the arm for Modbury, who just couldn't recover after that. And a late goal in the 88th minute, knowing Modbury are pushing. But Daniel Vaughan was just outstanding in that game. He made a couple of great saves and a goal of two goal of the week contenders in this game with Liam McCabe and Aladdin Irabona. But for me, it was Daniel Vaughan that won him the game. He just, some of the saves he pulled off, I just was not expecting him to get down to or get across to, and his footwork and his agility just was spot on. And like I said, I think it was again, Irabona's got to score the goals, but Vaughan really helped him set up and keep Mowbray at bay.
Yeah, and I just suppose when we were talking about in our season preview, we had pretty big raps on Mowbray. From your perspective, what do you think was, I guess, the positives and negatives for them, really?
Oh, they had plenty of positives. They were creating so many opportunities, and when I say creating opportunities, they were opportunities. They weren't half chances. So they're there. It's like I said, they just come up against an absolute wall in Vaughan for especially the first half. So there's plenty of things. They're going to a three at the back for Mowbray with their import at the back, who looked very impressive. You can't miss him though. To be fair, he's got bright red hair. He's dyed it bright red, so he's noticeable. So they've got a very good lineup. They've got great players in their squad, and they've brought in Detroyer as well. So it didn't quite click for them against Comets. The Comets did sit back a little bit and sort of soak up a bit of pressure. But when that clicks, like they'll be great. I mean, they were missing Francesca in the middle as well. So like I said, they've got players to come back in, and I think it's just a blip. Like last year, they had a blip in that first game against Para Hills. This year, Comets got the win, but as I said, I don't think it's going to have a huge bearing on their season. I think they'll just kick on and pick up a couple of quick wins in the next few rounds, and they'll be on their way.
David, on the Saturday, you were at the Croatian Sports Centre. How was that for you?
That was okay. I was flying solo, and it was okay. Look, I was a bit disappointed there was only one goal in it. I felt Croatia Raiders played well. Noah Blazeka was a bit of a standout for me in that game. They had the usual suspects. So there's not a lot of personnel changes for Croatia Raiders. The usual players were out there. Sorry, I wasn't prepared for this. But I'm just trying to remember the game, actually. It was quite... The first half was completely memorable. Second half, Adelaide United scored that goal through Mutsama Pandawana. He came on and pretty much with his second or third touch of the ball, received it from Joey Garuccio at the edge of the box and has hit the ball into the near post, the goalkeeper. Overall, I feel Adelaide United maybe the better of the two sides, but there wasn't much in it, and until the goal happened, there wasn't really much to report on. So maybe a little bit of a fizzler, maybe a bit disappointing, especially as I had my scores update or my live feed coming through from other games, and I saw 3-3 and 2-1 and so on. So it was fun. It was great being there. It wasn't a game I'll remember in 6 weeks' time.
Fair enough. And then Alessio, on the Sunday, you were at One Solution Park.
Yeah, it was looking pretty good as well. Great weather. I thought it was going to be a standalone game before all the rescheduling, but again, similar to David, probably wasn't the most pleasing game to watch on the eye. I mean, the way that both teams played was a bit slow for my liking. Some interesting positional changes though for Adelaide City with Karacha and Buko at the base of a defensive midfield, and about 4 players ahead of them taking up the attacking positions. But a couple of interesting plays that they were doing, especially with John Hall. I don't know how Beograd didn't clock on for so long that his chipped goal kicks were just finding a striker every single time without contention. But they just made their chances count. They were definitely the better team on the day, Adelaide City. But even if you saw in the stats there, when I was talking to Adrian Deloy after the game, who said, how many shots on target do we have today? Or how many shots in general? And I think it said there 2 shots, 0 on target. And Adelaide City wouldn't have had many themselves. So it just goes to show how much of a probably feeling out kind of game it was. You can see a foul count there as well. It was very, very stop-start. And yeah, it just seemed like, as both coaches said after the game, it's typical round one, teams just feeling each other out. Nothing really special shown, but there's a couple standout performers, I would say, especially Karacha in that defensive midfield role. I haven't seen him there often, but we know how he can put his body in front of people and win fouls, and he did that. I reckon at least half of those Adelaide City fouls won would have been just him, and then on the other side, half of B grades would have been Baselli. So
Yes, very exciting. Of course, you're back there on Sunday, Alessio, for the big derby. A very, very exciting game that will be. You and David there. Very much looking forward to watching it.
both teams without a win, so I'm praying we don't get a draw, David.
Oh, I know. Or a 0-0 draw would be even worse. It's not as good if it's 5-all.
You said our game on the Friday night was going to be a 0-0, and then you said what your game was going to be 7-5 on the Saturday.
I got the end the wrong way around, didn't I?
That's pretty much all the games we can cover that we know of, at least. We'll go on to the upcoming fixtures for this weekend. State League 2 is back, as is the WSL. We'll start with State League 2, the Northern region. And as always, we'll go through our predictions each game. Just give a quick scoreline and how we think it will go. Gawler Eagles versus Modbury Vista. I'm going to predict a 2-0 Vista win.
I'll go for a 1-0 Vista win.
I'll go a 4-1 Vista win.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go 5-2 Vista.
Goals, I like it.
Gawler are not too shabby. They beat Eastern really late on in preseason. That was a very commanding win.
Yeah, I was going to say like 3-0, but I popped it down to 2 when I remembered that they weren't actually that bad in preseason either. Adelaide Atletico in their first ever game against Port Adelaide. I don't really know, to be honest, completely. I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw.
I'll go for a 2-1. I'll go for a 2-1 win for Port Adelaide. There's absolutely no form guide, really. I mean, friendlies don't mean anything, and there's no previous meetings. So 2-1 Port.
Yeah, I'm going to go Port 1-0.
I'm going to go 3-2 Atletico.
Very interesting.
You're going to go
and
Atletico.
What?
To be fair, they got. I don't mind their kit. I like the colours, pink and black. Very, very nice. It's
And
pretty
they
good.
have that.
Very into Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have that Rapano guy as well, Mark, from Seaford, and he's
Yeah.
very good goal scorer.
Well, Andrew Shaw took a few players with him because he took Tate, the goalkeeper, as well with him. So he did take a few.
Next up, again, 2 newer teams as Alessio's dog starts going off again, I think it is. Or is it the chickens?
No, it's not the chickens. No,
Not the chicken, it's the dog. It's the dog. Very good to hear. 2 new teams, Garn Kilburn and Salisbury Inter. Again, a very hard one to go off of. I'm going to go with a 2-1 Salisbury Inter win.
I'm actually going to go for a GAN win in this. I'll go for 2-1 as well, but in the favour of GAN United.
I'm going to go a 2-2 draw.
And this is at Garn, right? This is at
Yes.
Garn.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 4-1 Salisbury Inter.
Okay, and then poor Elizabeth Grove have to go all the way up to Northern Demons for their first ever game. I think
It's only an hour drive for them.
Oh, no, it's not. What are you on about?
I'm only kidding.
I feel almost offended by you saying that. I
used to live down the road from where you are.
True. Yeah. I'm gonna go with a 3-0 Grove win.
I'll go for 3-all, a 3-all draw.
I'll go 4-1 Demons win.
And finally, Alessio.
I'll go 3-1 Demons.
Okay. On to the South. Adelaide Uni versus Seaford Rangers. I'm going to go for a 3-1 Adelaide Uni win.
I'm going to go for a 2-0 Adelaide Uni win.
I got a 2-2 draw.
Also, I just saw on their socials this week, this is the first time they're hosting a night game in the league for a long time. I think they've got updated facilities, so they're going to have a couple night games there this year. We play them on a Friday night as well, which is pretty cool.
City as well.
Yeah. I'm going to go for a uni win. Is it Seaford, right?
Yes.
Yep.
I'll go 4-2 win for uni. I think Seaford will be pretty good this year.
Next up, the game everybody's been waiting for like a couple months now. Western Strikers versus Mount Barker United. I'm going to go a 2-0 Mount Barker.
I'm going to go for 6-0 Western Strikers.
Are you going to raise him, Mark?
No, I was actually going to go 3-0 to Western Strikers, so I'm not going above that one.
Sorry, can't help myself. No wonder why I've got no friends.
I'm going to go a repeat of 2023 and a 2-1 Barker win.
Very nice. Noarlunga United versus New Boys Adelaide Titans. I'm going to go a 1-1 draw.
I'm going to go for Titans winning this. I'm going to go for 3-2.
I'll go Noarlunga 2-1.
And then finally for State League 2, Eastern United versus Adelaide Hills Hawks. I'm going to go for a 4-0 Eastern win.
I'm going to go for a 6-0 win for Eastern United.
I'm going to go with Eastern United and 4-1.
I will go with an Eastern United 2-0.
Very, very good. Round 1 of the WSL is also back, now down to 8 teams due to Croydon and Fulham both leaving. Starting off with Cove versus Modbury Jets. I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw.
I'm going to go for a Cove winning this. I have a lot of faith in Cove. Claire Levy, Gracie Curtis, under the watchful eye of Tracy Jenkins. I'm going to go for Cove win 3-0.
I'm going to go 3-3 draw.
I'll go Cove 3-1.
Elizabeth Grove versus Modbury Vista. In prospect, a very interesting match, I think. I'm going to go again for a 2-2 draw.
Who was it? Grove and who, sorry?
Grove and Modbury Vista.
Yeah, I'll go for a draw on that as well, but I'll go 3-3.
I'll go 1-1 then.
I'll go Grove 3-1 win.
I really thought you were going to go for a 4-4 draw, Alessio.
Sturt Lions versus Adelaide Jaguars. Of course, Sturt just getting relegated, but Adelaide Jaguars also making the preseason cup final. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Sturt.
This is a difficult one, isn't it? I'll go for another draw, only because I fancy them both to win. So I'll go for a draw as well, and I'll go for 3-3.
The Seb strategy so far.
I'll go Sturt and 3-2.
I'll go Sturt 2-1.
And then finally, South Adelaide versus Western Strikers. I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw.
I'm going to go for a South Adelaide win in this one. Ben's still down there, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
He is
Ben,
coach, but he's away at the moment.
Oh, is someone responsible taking over the reins?
It's certainly not me, so that's good.
I'll go for a South win 2-1.
Yeah, I'll go South Adelaide win and 1-0.
I'll go with a 1-1 draw.
Very, very interesting. State League 1 round 2 coming up. South Adelaide versus Sturt Lions. Of course, South Adelaide only coming off a draw against Cobras, but Sturt Lions very much defeating Cove.
Semi-southern derby.
Yeah, semi-southern derby. I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw.
Who are the teams? Sorry,
South Adelaide and Sturt.
South Adelaide and Sturt.
South.
Yeah, I'll go. Did you say a draw, Seb? I think I'll go a draw.
Yeah, I said a 2-2 draw.
Yeah, I'll go for. I'll go for 2-2 as well.
Indecisive this week. We seem to be.
South's at home on a Friday night.
Many big games there in the past between those two at night time.
That's what I was going to say. It's a big game against these two. For some reason, hate each other. They hate each other. I'm actually going to go a 3-3 draw.
You should commentate it, Mark, if you're not busy on
Yeah,
Friday.
you should. Yeah.
I've got my lads' kit presentation, so I'll be busy. I can't get out of that because I'm the coach, so I have to do it. So.
I'm going 4-2 Sturt win.
West Adelaide versus Pontian Eagles. Another very, very interesting one. Which
Greek-ish derby.
A Greekish derby. I don't know. I really don't know.
At West Adelaide.
I'm going West Adelaide 3-2.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go for West Adelaide too, but very narrowly, and I'll go for 2-1. So
I'm going to go 2-1 West Adelaide. I nearly went 2-2 again though.
I'm going to go 4-0 West Adelaide.
Next up, Salisbury United versus Adelaide Olympic. This game is getting commentated on Saturday by yours truly. We're very interesting to see that one. I'm going to get on the train, but stop on the way. Therefore, meaning a 2-2 draw. Like I'm on the train, but I got to stop because I don't know where I'm going to go. So I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. That's my analogy.
Yeah. That's too hard to think about. I'm just going to go for an Adelaide Olympic win. 3-2.
I'm going to go a 1-1 draw.
I did the same, 1-1 draw.
Cove versus Cumberland. I'm going to go for Cumberland 3-1.
Cove are my new favourite team, and having spoken to Matt earlier on, I think they're going to go into this and bounce right back from their battering from last week, and Cove will win this 3-2.
I'm going to go with Cove as well and go 2-1.
Yes, Mark.
I just think they're going to bounce back. I think they might bounce back and surprise Cumberland.
I'll tell you, I'm going to go Cove win because I think Steve Kitchen knows how to figure out Phil Stubbins. So I'm going to go 3-1
games.
Cove.
It's putting it in the coaches battle.
Yeah.
In the final, I think the last game of the season, I think Uni played Cove. Cove took them out of the top 2 spot. And they played each other in the finals, and Cove beat them over both legs. So I'm going to go for a Cove 3-1.
Second to last, Fulham versus Cobras. I'm going to go with a 2-0 Cobras.
I'll go for 2-0 Fulham.
I'll go for 2-2.
I thought about it, you know.
I'll go 2-1 Fulham.
And then finally for State League 1, Monday night game. Mondays at Marden. Adelaide Blue Eagles versus Vipers FC. The only game on for that Monday, I want to say, throughout all the leagues. I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw.
I'll go for an Adelaide Blue Eagles win. 2-1.
Yeah, I'm with you, David. I'm going to Blue Eagles 2-1 as well. Monday night at home at their first home game of the season. I think they'll.
I'm going to go. I'm going to go 1-1 draw.
On to round 2 of the men's NPL. 4 games on the Friday night. Adelaide Comets versus Adelaide United. First game at Ellis Park. Very interesting to see how that goes. I'm going to go with a... United 2-1.
I'll go. Adelaide United weren't convincing against Croatia Raiders. They weren't. They didn't blow me away. Comets obviously came back from being 1-0 down and looked like they played well in that second half. Irabona on fire, so I'm going to go for a Comets win. 3-0.
Yeah, I'm going to Comets win. First main game at their new place. They'll want to make sure they get the result. And like I said, and if Fawns keeps his form from last weekend, United will struggle to score. Irabona 2 goals straight away. So, and I think Labasso got the third. He's playing actually in the front line now. So I think that kid's played everywhere except in goal for Comets these days. So fair dues to him. But Comets for me, and I'm going to go 3-1.
I went Comets 4-1. I reckon they're going to put a show on at home.
Modbury Jets versus... I forgot to say that Comets game. I think Johnny's on that. Modbury Jets versus Croydon. David, that's you on Friday, if I'm not to be mistaken?
That is correct, yes. It's a long, 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 long way from home, but I'll go out there for my sins.
I will go for a 3-1 Modbury win.
The cracker there last time, if I remember.
Yeah, this is a hard one to pick because Modbury at home are usually pretty strong, aren't they? But they're facing a Croydon side coming off a win. So I might just go for a draw. I'll go for a 2-2 draw. A shock result, that one.
I'm going to go Modbury 3-2.
I'm going to go 3-1 Modbury.
Next up, Metro versus Adelaide City. My MPL game for the weekend. I'm going to go with a 3-2 Metro.
I think Metro will win this. I'll also go for 3-2.
I'm going to go Metro 2-0.
I'll go Metro 3-1.
Next up, Burkalla versus Campbelltown. Important game for both these teams already. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw.
I have every faith that Daniel Millen will tidy things up at the back for Campbelltown, and they're playing against the Burkalla side that obviously just promoted. But if they get it right at the back, I think Campbelltown will win this out. I think they'll win it 3-0. And if they don't get it right, it's going to be a Burkalla win. Sorry.
I'm going to go a 3-3 draw again for Burks.
I went a 2-2 draw. So
Playford versus Para Hills, the only game on the Saturday, which you will be at, Mark. So headlining.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for a Playford 3-2. And then
Saturday
you're going
after
to finish 4-5 and you're going to score 1 and get sent off.
Saturday afternoon football's a thing of the past, isn't it? When there's only one game on. But I'll be watching it, Mark. I'll go for a Playford win, 2-0.
I'm going to go for Playford and 2-1. And then the main game, I'm going to go for the which is our game. I'm going to go for a Para Hills win in that one.
Do you think not a scoreline?
It'll end up something like 8-9 or something like that in the end, I think.
Do you know where you're playing roughly as well?
I have no idea. I'm either going to be in goal or on the park. He said to me, if he gets another goalie, I'll probably play half and half. Otherwise,
so
I'll
half
be
in
in
each,
goal.
yeah, surely.
So who knows? He actually said to me today, goes, I don't actually know, depending on if I get another goalie or not. I'm like, So we'll see.
I went 3-0 Playford.
And then finally on Sunday, the Derby, FK Beograd versus Adelaide Croatia Raiders, our very own Alessio and David on that one together as a team. I'm going to go for... I don't really know, to be honest. Why is everything hard this week? Everything's hard this week, you know?
Yeah, there was some unexpected results, I think, last week. I mean, did we really expect Campbelltown to go down 3-0? Did we really expect, Powerhouse Knights to come back, from 3-0 down as well? So it's all thrown us a little bit, I think. I don't think it's that easy to pick this week either. Plus, there isn't really form. There's just that one game, really, that one competitive round to go by. What you're thinking about, Seb?
Either.
Yeah. So while you're thinking about Seb, I'll put my hand forward and I'll say that this one's going to be a draw, Croatia Raiders and Beograd. I didn't see any of Beograd last week, Alessio's game. I'll just go for 2 each.
I'm going to go FK Beograd 2-1 and Dakota to start.
I'm going to go 3-2 Croatia, I think.
I'll go 3-2 Beograd.
Very, very much looking forward to that one. And then finally, the WMPL Preseason Cup final is on the Friday night between West Adelaide and NTC. Another one where both of these teams I've heard very, very, very good things about. I reckon it could go to penalties. I'm not sure if it goes to extra time. I'm not sure if it goes to extra time and penalties. I'm gonna go 2-2 at full time, and then West Adelaide to win on penalties.
I'll go for 2-2 at full time, but West Adelaide to win it in open play before penalties in the 117th minute with a goal 3 minutes from time.
Is this being played on Friday night at service?
Yeah.
I'm going to go a 2-2 draw. 3-3 draw. It's going to penalties, and it's going to finish 12-11 on penalties in favour of West Adelaide.
That's it, Mark. Be bold.
I'm just going to go West Adelaide.
Did you say be bold or be bold?
Be bold.
Bold.
Wrong person to be telling that. What was your prediction, Alessio? Sorry.
Just 3-1 in normal time, West Adelaide.
Very, very interesting. That's pretty much it from us. Anyone else wanting to add anything on ahead from the weekend? I think we've said what games we're on. I think all games are commentated in the MPL this weekend at least. I'm at Salisbury for State League 1. I don't know if anyone's going to hop on a State League 1 game. There's a Monday night game if anyone wants that.
I will do in a few weeks though.
The Southern Derby? You're interested?
Yep. I'll be on that.
Exactly.
If it works, I'll jump on that one. I'll be there for training anyway, so I'll and not for me training, but for my lad. But I'll probably jump on that one. It'll be a Friday night, so I'll probably jump on that one.
Yeah, I was hoping that was going to be really early in the fixture, so you could get Ryan Beach on while he's suspended. But
anything else from you guys to add on before we leave?
The only thing is, like I said, if you can get out to the only game on the Saturday is the Playford Para Hills game, so get out there and support Black Dog Institute. And obviously, again, always looking for people to jump on board with our show and sponsorship and things like that. So we've got some windows available for that. So, and also, obviously, we'll start talking about Team of the Week next week. So we released our first one the other day?
Oh yes, yeah. Any complaints can be guided to any of the other three except me. That'd be great. I just make the graphic, and that'll be all. But please, yes, interact and share a few of the clubs shared it as well, which is greatly appreciated. And got a few thank you messages from players for being included. So yeah, if you want to be in, just be good at football. I think is
yeah, well,
main
yeah.
goal. Yeah, unless you Alad Niraboto, who was slightly hard done by. he definitely gets a very high tier honourable mention. But come back next week, Aladdin. Anything from you, David or Alessio?
Nothing more to add, Your Honour.
Just for me, I mean, get out to Ellis Park, get out to Ferryden Park for Garn's game, the new facilities, the new clubs in the leagues. Make sure you get out to them. Yeah, there's so much football all over all 3 days, even 4 days if you count the Monday one as well. So just, more people out, the better. And yeah, keep tuning into the live streams because they're running really smooth. And the more people that watch it, the more people will get commentating on all the other leagues. So keep it up.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very exciting weekend ahead. Plenty of big games coming up over the next couple of weeks, but lovely to have your three's company alongside me tonight. I've enjoyed it as always.
Great to be here.
Yeah, thanks, Seb. Well done.
Thank you. We'll see you next week. We'll have another guest. I don't remember who. We'll have someone. Someone will come along.
Let's keep it a surprise.
Let's do it. Yeah. And we'll see you next Wednesday for our next episode. But until then, we'll see you later and enjoy the football.
Adios.
Catches.
Alex Mullen to make it 3-1 in the grand final. Puts in the penalty and wins the grand final for Campbelltown City.
No one attacks it. Comes back up to Fernandez. It's the goal. It's Cove. And their talisman's got another one. City back quick. Jake King. What a shot. My goodness me. Can't teach that sort of stuff. Sends it in. Keeps it low. And it's gone in. It's gone in. LA Uni have scored. In time added. Tries to get under control, and the shot from Tolland! Salisbury into a 2-0 up! Neil Butler with another chance, it's 2-1 to Playford! Persistence has paid off for Playford! One touch the keeper, puts it into the bottom corner. Beach gives him a shoulder after that as well. He's lost his clean sheet, and he's lost his head with a red card! David, this is massive!
Skills to make the girls sing and the geezers too, yeah, we're doing this thing.